Hey, today we're going to be building a team around Abomasnow. Abomasnow is primed and has been all of last season to break apart the most common core that we see in the Great League, which is Noctowl and Lanturn. Now, Abomasnow is filled with a lot of weaknesses, but as you begin to climb in the Great League, the team variety that you face off against diminishes. So in order to leverage its ability to core break, we need to build a strong team around it. On the lead, we're going to have arguably one of the best Pokemon in the Great League, and that's going to be Defense Form Deoxys. It does a great job at just having a lot of neutral matchups in the meta, being able to do well against Pokemon like Bastiodon or do well against Pokemon like Medicham. And having access to Thunderbolt allows it to pressure Pokemon like Noctowl. So that's our core, Defense Form Deoxys and Abomasnow, but on the safe swap, we need something that can provide a lot of utility to this team. Firstly, it needs to be able to cover a lot of the weaknesses that Defense Form Deoxys has, and it also needs to draw out common counters to Abomasnow while being able to apply a pressure to them. This is going to be Drapion, Poison Sting, Crunch, and Aqua Tail. If there is, let's say, a Medicham or Bastiodon in the back, it's going to draw it out, and it can apply a lot of neutral or super effective pressure with Aqua Tail and Crunch. This frees up Abomasnow to potentially sweep teams as long as the hardest counter is out of the way, and it gives us a lot of opportunity to flip that mid game. Alright, getting into the first battle. Now, these battles were done in the first week that we had the Great League. I just took a while to get around to making the video, so if you guys are looking at the rank, I'm way higher than that, but we do have a Noctowl here on the lead. Now, this video again is showcasing why Abomasnow is so strong at core breaking. We're going to go ahead and let that Shadow Ball go through because it just does so well against Noctowl and Lanturn. Now, we can go for the Thunderbolt right here. We do get a shield, so I'm going to go ahead and go into Drapion. This is going to put some pressure on them to either want to stay in because they're weak in the back or draw out a common counter to Abomasnow. So I'm going to go ahead and let that Sky Attack go through, and sure enough, just as predicted, a Medicham now comes in. This is now the hardest counter most likely on their team to our Abomasnow, and if there is in fact a Noctowl and a Lanturn on this team, Abomasnow is going to be sweeping, and you guys are going to see why. We can go straight for Crunches right here in this matchup as it does apply a lot of neutral damage. We've already gotten the Medicham here down to basically 20% HP, which is super ideal as they do decide to go for Ice Punch. Now this is a good situation where Defense Form Deoxys can come right in because of its bulk. Even though we CMP tie right here, we can survive an Ice Punch. As we let that go through, this is allowing us now to go for the Psycho Boost. And again, the play of this team is get that hardest counter out of the way and core break with Abomasnow. So we go ahead and swap into Abomasnow, and they are staying in. This is a tell that they might be weak in the back, so I'm going to go ahead and give up a shield here. A Sky Attack would do super effective damage. Now let's see what they decide to do. They're still staying in, so we're going to go ahead and throw the Weather Ball now to try to take out the Noctowl. If they decide to shield, they're clearly weak in the back, and they did. So let's see what they decide to do now. They swap into Lanturn here. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Energy Ball, and this is beautiful. This team is so common, especially when you have multiple rotations of the Great League. Noctowl and Lanturn plus a third is so common because it's so strong, and that's why we have the capability to leverage our Abomasnow to take this team down. So we're going to go ahead and go for Weather Ball right here. Get this Lanturn out of the way. Now we have to swap into Defense Form Deoxys because I don't want to give up a shield against the Noctowl, and saving Defense Form Deoxys allowed us to put pressure on them to throw because counter would have taken them out, and now we have Weather Ball ready to go for Noctowl. So this team played exactly how we wanted it to. We had a nice neutral matchup on the lead. We got ourselves shield advantage. We swap into Drapion, draw out the Medicham. We sweep with Abomasnow. Alright, this time we have a Trevenant lead, so a very hard lead loss, but this is what's cool about our backline. Both Pokemon do super effective damage, right? The Dark typing from Drapion and the Ice typing from Abomasnow. And we draw out a Registeel. Again, this is a counter to Abomasnow, more so on the defensive aspect, because yes, you have to watch out for Focus Blast, but Lock-On isn't really a threat, right? But defensively, it resists all the charge moves, and Drapion in this case is doing a perfect mid-game thing for us, which is getting the Registeel low and potentially flipping this around. So what we're going to look to do here is go for another Crunch, as it will get a shield from our opponent. And if they decide to let it go, by all means, they decide to let it go. So we now, last game, we took an advantage by drawing out Medicham. This game, we go for switch. And look at that. Now it's a Trevenant Noctowl core. Abomasnow still does fantastic against it. Yes, we have to watch out for Shadow Ball. Yes, we have to watch out for Sky Attack. But ultimately, we are in a very good position right here. So we're going to go ahead and let this Sky Attack go through. Drapion has done its job. We can now align our defense form Deoxys to Noctowl right here and have the energy to put pressure against shield. So we're going to go ahead and let the Shadow Ball go through. We're saving that final shield for Abomasnow. We're going to have to see what they decide to do. I'm going to go ahead and load up on energy and actually now go for a Psycho Boost. This is still going to do enough neutral damage to potentially KO, and we are likely getting a shield anyways. And let's see what they decide to do. They decide to swap and bring in Trevenant. Now, this is a tough situation. I have to let it go. It's just going to be a Seed Bomb, and we do go down, but now Abomasnow has a lot of play right here. We're going to go ahead and load up on energy and go for a Weather Ball. If this gets the final shield from our opponent, and we can successfully call the Shadow Ball, which is the big concern right here. This is why things get dangerous. We're going to go ahead and throw the Shadow Ball shield right away. It is the Shadow Ball, which is perfect. This is going to allow us to now over farm because they can only get to a Seed Bomb in time. So had this been reversed, right, had they thrown Seed Bomb, I would have needed to throw a Weather Ball. But either way, we have this game won because we have back-to-back Weather Balls. So it was a win condition either way, but it's safer to throw that shield up first and then throw the energy if we have to. Boom, good game. All right, moving to the next one. And again, if you guys are wondering, maybe you didn't hear earlier, these battles were done in the first week. I'm just getting around to it now to making the video, which is why you saw the rank. But ultimately, these teams are meta. These teams are strong. And Abomasnow is something that you want to look to leverage if you guys are facing off against a lot of Lanturns and Noctowls. So Thunderbolt comes through. We let that go. We're going to look to go for our own Thunderbolt, but they decide to swap into Noctowl. Look at this. Another Lanturn and Noctowl team. Now, it begs to question what else could be in the back. Right? It could be maybe they're running Altaria, maybe they're running Double Flyer in the back, which means we really want Abomasnow to core break right there. And I also want to get shield pressure here. So I do get a shield with the Psycho Boost. So I'm going to go ahead and go for another one, but I'm forcing them to throw their energy. I really don't need Defense Form Deoxys to win this game. What I need is Abomasnow with shields and energy because I'm reading a potential Altaria in the back. Like I said before, Double Flyer would make sense if they safe swap a Flyer, right, to draw out maybe a Bastiodon or a Galarian Stunfisk. So we're going to go ahead and go for the Weather Ball here because I don't want to have to give up another shield against Noctowl, and we do take it out. And unless he decides to come in, it's actually a Frostlass. So this is now a much more dangerous situation than an Altaria would be because of the neutral damage from Avalanche that we're going to be facing off against. But thankfully, we can go for Energy Ball right here, which does do a lot of neutral damage back. And we still have our Drapion, but we need to keep Abomasnow healthy. So we're going to go ahead and swap into Drapion now, and this is going to act as an absorbent for our team. Remember, we resist the fast and charge moves from Lanturn on Abomasnow, so we want to maintain a lot of health here and put a lot of shield pressure now on the Lanturn with our Drapion, because Drapion is bulky enough where we can survive basically 2 Surfs right here, which allows us to get to this crunch. This is going to KO the Lanturn, so they might just be forced to shield here, which they do. This is now a really unique situation for us where I'm hoping that Abomasnow can look to go for a Weather Ball or maybe a full farm down. I don't think I get a full farm down here. I have to dance my energy, but actually Powder Snow is doing a lot. So we'll have to see how much damage we take. We might see a swap out as well into Frostlass, so we need to be prepared for that. So we're going to go ahead and load up on energy, and they do swap out, so we go for the Energy Ball here. I don't think Weather Ball is enough, just enough to KO, and I don't want them to throw another Avalanche because I resist Spark, so I should be able to get to this Weather Ball in time. And that's going to be a good game. So in this game, you saw that there was really no hard counter to Abomasnow. It was a lot of positive matchups for us and a neutral one, and it still was able to sweep. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. Deoxys versus Lanturn. Again, this is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful right here because I know there's probably a Noctowl in the back. We just don't know what the third is, but we need to be careful about it potentially being a Medicham, right? So we're going to go ahead and let this Thunderbolt go through and then look to go for our own Thunderbolt. And remember in last game, they swapped into Noctowl? We'll have to see what this opponent does in this game. They're deciding to stay in. So this might be a tell that, okay, maybe they have a Medicham in the back. Maybe they have something else weak to Defense Form Deoxys. So it's time for us to invest some shields into our own Defense Form Deoxys and look to go for a Psycho Boost. But unfortunately, I didn't get it off in time, as they can now get a Surf off. And this gets us extremely low, but we have double Psycho Boost. So what we need to do here is, after we throw this, we need to bail into our Drapion, and they actually bail into a Pelipper. So this is actually a really good situation, because now it looks to be an actual double flyer backline. If Pelipper was their safe swap, right, they didn't counter swap into my Drapion. We swapped at the same time, which means they utilized their safe swap. So they're running a double flyer backline like we predicted in last game. In this time, it's going to be the Pelipper right here. So this is a really good situation for us, because Abomasnow is going to be able to take it. And remember, we banked the charge move. We survived right there with 1 HP, which is beautiful. Allows us to get this Aqua Tail off. Yes, it's resisted, but look at the chip damage that it did right there. This is a perfect farm down range now for Abomasnow, because otherwise we'd have to look out for a Hurricane potentially if we go for the farm down. So let's see what they decide to bring in. It's going to be the Noctowl. Not surprised, not surprised. Now, they do make a great catch into Lanturn, but ultimately, this now gives me the opportunity to farm down with Powder Snow. So this is beautiful. I don't need to shield anything. I have all the energy in the world. I am sitting good. And remember, we saved our Defense Form Deoxys with a charge move, so that's going to come in clutch. Now, they do swap back in the Noctowl after well, they have to, because Lanturn went down. We can go for straight Weather Balls right here. They decided to no-shield it, so that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and throw this next one. Now, I do believe I have a Thunderbolt ready on the back. No, I think I just have a Psycho Boost ready, but ultimately, we should be able to get to another Weather Ball in time, because they tried to catch the charge move, which is a good catch on them, but ultimately, it backfired because I got so much energy from the farm down. Good game. All right, moving to the next one. We have Deoxys on the lead versus Medicham. Okay, so very positive lead matchup for us. We want to maintain this Medicham here in this matchup, because then that might free up our own Abomasnow and Drapion to sweep in the endgame. Now, there could also be a Bastiodon in the back, and this was just a power-up punch, which is really nice. So it looks to be power-up punch Psychic. I don't think the Medicham would have Ice Punch. That's usually a niche meta combination. It could. I could be completely wrong. But let's see what they decide to do here. They're going to go ahead and go for the Psychic. Yeah, that makes sense. So it doesn't do too much damage. We can easily tank that. And now we build up to double Psycho Boost and go for the Thunderbolt here. Thunderbolt is going to be the KO opportunity if they're going to go ahead and let this go, because Psycho Boost might not just be enough, and they do. So let's see what they decide to bring in, because I need to be careful. It's going to be a Charizard, so I go ahead and go for the Psycho Boost here. So I've seen this team before. It might be a Noctowl Shadow Charizard in the back, so we're going to go ahead and swap into the Drapion, and this is a very good opportunity for us because of the pressure that Aqua Tail provides now against the Charizard. We do give up a shield there against the Dragon Tail. I want to maintain a lot of health here on Drapion, because ultimately the Abomasnow is what's going to be sweeping, but I need to put more pressure, and we're going to go ahead and go for another Aqua Tail, and they do swap into Noctowl catching the charge move. So that's a good catch on them, but this is our game to win right now, as Noctowl is going to have to dump energy into us to take us out. Meanwhile, I'm just going to get it lower and lower to the point where one Weather Ball will KO, and because Charizard is fire flying, it takes neutral damage, and because it's Shadow, we also get a defense drop right there, which is huge, and I swap now into Defense Form Deoxys because I bank it. I love doing this. If you guys ever have an opportunity to save a low health Pokemon, that is ideal to catch energy. It's basically a third shield for you in your battles. All right, now we're going to come in with Abomasnow right here. We're going to no shield. This is dangerous. Sky Attack does do super effective damage, but I'm more fearful of a Blast Burn than I am of a Sky Attack. And they bring in the Charizard, so we're going to go ahead and shield right here and go for the Weather Ball. And then remember, we have good amount of energy on our Drapion as well, so this is going to be a good battle. And again, reading what's the hardest hitting move left in the game, it was Blast Burn and not Sky Attack. So this is going to be a good game. They can't farm us down because we get to the Weather Ball in time. That's going to be a good battle. So that was a hard team read right there on my end when I saw the Shadow Charizard, just because I saw that team commonly last season. And I believe, how many more we got? Looks like we got 2 more. All right, Whimsicott here on the lead. So this is kind of tough. We got to swap into Drapion right away, and this is Fairy Wind Whimsicott, which is really nice. Now we do, they make a beautiful swap. I was going for the Aqua Tail for the just to put some chip damage, but they made a great swap into Lanturn. So now I'm going to have to go for Crunches right here, and ultimately If they have Noctowl in the back, Abomasnow is still core breaking. It's actually breaking their whole team, right? The grass typing there on Whimsicott, flying typing on Noctowl, and the water typing here on Lanturn. So we're going to go for another crunch, and this is what's cool. I think Drapion, by far, I think in the last year, has been my favorite safe swap Pokemon in this meta because of Poison Sting got an update to its energy gain, which made Drapion just so versatile and so good. If you guys haven't built one yet, like, it's just good. It can go into so many teams. Now, it's actually a Jellicent in the back, which still works out, and it also makes a bit more sense, right? If you have a Whimsicott and a Jellicent core, or maybe Jellicent was the safe swap, having the water grass core makes a lot of sense, but ultimately Abomasnow makes a lot of sense because this is what we're seeing in the meta, so it's going to be core breaking for us. And thankfully, because of our moveset with Defense Form Deoxys, we can apply a lot of pressure with Thunderbolt. So we're going to go ahead and let this Surf go through. Doesn't do too much damage. We're going to go for the Thunderbolt, but they make another beautiful catch, just like yesterday's video, or day before video. We're going to go ahead and swap back into Abomasnow and look to Powder Snow down. We do a lot of damage, and ultimately I'm not too worried about the Jellicent getting to multiple Shadow Balls. I'm more worried about the potential Moonblast damage. So we're going to go ahead and just shield this because I think I can outpace if I just fully farm down. I need to get 2 Energy Balls off, so we're going to go ahead and throw 1. And Jellicent needs to get 2 Shadow Balls off in order to take us out. So I don't think it's going to be able to, and they decided to let it go through, so that's fine. We can now fully Powder Snow down right here. Now, as you guys will see, Shadow Ball doesn't do as much damage as you might think. It's still a good amount, but ultimately, we Powder Snow down, and had they shielded that first Energy Ball, we had another one ready to go. So that is a good game. We're moving into the final battle. We have Galarian Stunfisk now in the lead. So pretty positive lead for us, and they decide to swap into a Meganium. So the first time I've seen this in a while, Meganium was like dominant in year 1 of Go Battle League back in 2020. This is showing how long I've been around. Meganium was super strong back then, and we're going to go ahead and let the charge move go through. We resist Frenzy Plant and Earthquake, which is really nice. We're going to go ahead and just fully Powder Snow down. We want to have a lot of energy on the back end here for Galarian Stunfisk and not too much health as well. So I'm going to go ahead and look to go for double Weather Ball if I can. Now, Mudshot still is resisted, so they'll get a good amount of energy back from us. But ultimately, with the Defense Form Deoxys bulk that we have, that energy isn't really going to go anywhere. Remember, we still have our Drapion, so that's a bit better to keep hidden in the back. And just look to no-shield what Defense Form Deoxys does, or Galarian Stunfisk does to our Defense Form Deoxys. Even though if it's going to be an Earthquake, not too much damage, we can tank that. And the final Pokemon is a Lanturn. So even though we gave up our Abomasnow to the Meganium, we can come in here with Thunderbolt and Drapion to close this game out because of the spam that we have with a Poison Sting and Crunch for that neutral damage. We can let this Surf go through as well. I'm more concerned about the charge moves potentially from Galarian Stunfisk on the back end. So we're going to go ahead because we could just counter our way through the back end, right, with 2 shields. We do get a shield from them right there, so now I have to mirror shields basically. I really don't want another Surf to be landing because I should be able to get to this next Crunch before they get to another Surf. And this is again going to apply more and more pressure to them. If we get 2 shields, this is fine. We'll mirror shields, and they decide to let it go. So we're going to go ahead and look to let this go ourselves. Oh, I decided to shield the last second. I decided to swap now back into Galarian Stunfisk because I knew they'd swap in, but they shouldn't be able to get, I have to throw the Psycho Boost as well. They shouldn't be able to get to double charge move, double rock slides in order to take out my Drapion as well. So we're going to go ahead and hopefully get another counter in, which we do. And now this is going to be a race. I should be able to get to the Aqua Tail in time, and that's going to be a good game. The Lanturn as well is out of energy. It just threw a Surf, I believe, against us. And now we can just fast move down. Yep, and that's going to be a good game. Very well played. All right, that was the final battle. And Abomasnow, guys, I can't say more good things about it in this meta, especially since we've already had a whole season prior of Noctowl Lanturn metagame. Abomasnow in this season is going to be pretty strong, so if you want to build teams around it, this was just a team that I built. And again, this was for my first week of Great League, but I haven't gotten around to making the video until now because there were so many other crazy updates and videos to be making about Whimsicott and Jellicent and Boomburst and all that stuff. But this team was really strong and really consistent, and it can perform well, I think, at any level of content that you're doing if you are seeing the Noctowl Lanturn core. So hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and like always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.